Hey downtown van. Hey downtown van.
Hey downtown van.
Hey downtown van.
Hey downtown van.
Hey downtown van.
You're listening to Hey Downtown Van, hosted by the Downtown Vancouver BIA.
Hey Downtown Van, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Sofia Laratta, and today's guest is Chef Alex Kim. Chef Alex Kim is a culinary director at Five Sales Vancouver, where he brings a refined touch to West Coast cuisine. With roots in Korea and training in top Canadian kitchens, he blends global technique with local ingredients to create award-winning seasonal menus. We really hope you enjoy today's episode, and let's get into it. All right, Chef Alex, thank you so much for being here. We're so happy to have you.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of
Nice
course.
to meet you, Sophia.
Nice to meet you. So I just want to start off and ask you about your background.
Mm-hmm.
What was the defining moment that made you realize you wanted to be a chef? What led you to this?
I was born and raised in Seoul, South Korea, and then I spent most of my summer with my grandparents in countryside. So I would say I fell in love with cooking through spending my summer with my grandparents, farming, cooking, all that kind of stuff. And growing up, I watched Jamie Oliver's first Naked Chef. So that's when I was kind of dreaming about becoming a chef. So there are two people heavily influenced.
Jamie Oliver, I loved him. I used to watch him all the time. So you moved to Edmonton?
Yeah, I moved to Edmonton from
And
Seoul to Edmonton. Yeah.
What were you doing in Edmonton? Were you going to school?
Yeah, I went to school. I went to high school, and my last year in high school, I decided to go to chef school. So I went to culinary school in Edmonton, and I started working restaurants.
Nice. And what brought you to Vancouver?
It's closer to my home, and I think I guess after a couple of years after in Edmonton, I started thinking about moving to Vancouver because the oceans and mountains.
Yeah.
I think that it was perfect city for me. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So why did you go from Korea to Edmonton? What brought you to Canada?
to study. I mean, I asked my dad when I was little. I wanted to study overseas, so he and we did some research. Back then we always talked about Canada. So yeah, I mean, I have a few options like nearby Toronto or nearby Vancouver, and then he had a friend in Edmonton, but I didn't really know how big this country is.
It's huge.
Yeah. So I picked closer to center. So Edmonton was, I mean, it kind of attracted me. Like, people around me, they told me that it's kind of cold in Edmonton. I didn't know how cold it was. But it was really good for me to study in Edmonton. It was a little bit less multicultural, so I could adapt the Canadian culture.
Interesting.
And, I could hang out with people or friends that grew up here. So, yeah.
Very interesting. So you've cooked in some really incredible kitchens. How have those experiences shaped your culinary identity?
Definitely people, the chefs that I work with. So they're incredibly talented, and they brought their own culinary background. So there's some Japanese chefs, German chefs, French chefs, Italians. I think it really helped me building my technical foundations. And also there's some great chefs that has good leadership. So I got to learn great leadership as well from them.
Nice. So prior to Five Sales, where else have you worked?
Mostly hotels, mostly international chains. So I spent quite a bit of time at Fairmont Hotels.
Nice.
And when I moved to Vancouver, I started working at Shangri-La.
That's a good job.
Yeah. I spent 3.5 years and COVID happened.
Of course.
Yeah.
I feel like I worked at a hotel as well right before COVID happened. But what I really like about hospitality is I feel like hotel chains will pay their staff a living wage or more, like even kitchen staff, chefs. Yeah. It's nice for sure. So what attracted you to Five Sales, and what's been your vision for its evolution?
So right after COVID, I joined Global Restaurant Group, and that was when Five Sales was bought by the Global Restaurant Group, and we're doing the renovation, a little bit of reconceptualizing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously, the breathtaking views and the name itself, the reputation and everything. So it really attracted me to go to Five Sails.
And Five Sails is inside of the Pan Pacific Hotel?
Yes,
Nice.
on our level. I'm not sure which floor it is. Maybe third floor.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've actually never been to Five Sails.
You should.
I know, I should come, definitely. So walk us through your creative process when developing a new dish. Where does it begin?
So we change our menu 4 times a year for a la carte version. It all starts with this question, the very question, what's in season, right? And what's in season, and myself, my chef de cuisine, sous chefs, we get together, we talk about what's in season, what's best texture, the flavor. So we start ideating from that question, and then we talk about what kind of recipes we're going to use for different textures, different flavor combinations, and then we talk about why is this dish very special to us. So there's a little bit of storytelling behind it. Yeah, so we start from like the seasonal options that we have.
That's very cool. It sounds very creative. So since the food is local and seasonal, how has the West Coast environment influenced the food that you make?
I think that we have abundant seafood here in BC, so obviously we're a little bit seafood heavy, and also the moderate climate. So definitely we can go to a little bit towards east. So we go to Abbotsford, Fraser Valley. There's basically amazing poultry farms, pork farms, and also we're nearby Alberta. So there's a lot of red meat coming from Alberta. So obviously I'm going to say we're very well balanced in terms of the balance between seafood and the red meat, but a little bit towards seafood. Also, BC or Vancouver, we're really multicultural. There are amazing, talented chefs out there. So we do a lot of research. We go to different restaurants and eat out. So obviously they're heavy influence as well.
Yeah.
Because we need to know what other chefs doing, what other restaurants doing. So not only just put ourselves in a box where we're European cuisine. We're not afraid of using different ingredients in terms of like different authenticity. I like to use a little bit of Korean ingredients, Japanese ingredients. So yeah.
And Vancouver, where do you think it compares to other cities in Canada culinary wise? Like where are we on the scale?
We're definitely the same level as Toronto. I mean, Montreal, Quebec, they're a little bit different because they have their own like Quebecois cuisine. Toronto is pretty multicultural, so we can be compared with Toronto.
Yeah. I feel like we have so much good food here and so many great restaurants.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you ever draw inspiration from unexpected sources like travel, music, or art?
Well, I want to say music, but because it kind of sounds artsy. But travels. Yeah. I mean, pre-COVID, my wife and I we traveled a lot. Right, we went to Hong Kong. Many different cities in the States, and also traveling my own country or, my home country, South Korea. I get a lot of inspirations. And after COVID, so recently, last year, I traveled Europe for about a couple months. And, it was, every day was, there's something to be inspired from. So, yeah, travels.
Where in Europe did you go?
Spain, Italy from south to north, and then France from south to north. Yeah.
Nice. So where in Italy did you go?
I started from Naples, Sorrento, Amalfi, like the coast, west, southern coast, and then went up to Rome, Firenze, and I did Bologna, and then Emilia Romagna. So,
nice.
Parma, Modena, that area, Milan to Venice, and then I trained to Nice. So from south to north.
So jealous. What did you think about the food in Rome?
I'm gonna say, I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm gonna say other cities have offered a little bit more like
Better quality.
yeah, well, not better quality, different varieties. I
Yeah.
mean, when you go to Firenze, it's more meat heavier, or even Milan, it's like they use butter instead of olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then southern coast was lots of seafood, and they
Mm-hmm.
had their own color. I'm sure Rome has its own, I guess, traditions in terms of food, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I kind of find it more authentic when you go to Firenze,
Yeah.
try the steak, or you go to Venice or southern coast and try the seafood
Yeah.
dish. Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
I found it really hard to find really good food in Rome, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's just like it's such a big city and there's
Yeah.
so many like tourist traps and
yeah. I
and
think
stuff.
it's the most tourists they go to Rome, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest tourist cities, right?
Yeah.
So
But that's so cool. I'm very jealous. There's so much good food in Europe.
yeah.
Is there a dish on the Five Sales menu that feels particularly personal to you?
I'm gonna say every seasonal menu. There's I'm gonna say every dish is there's personal connection to me. It's really hard to pick just one dish, right? But this time we have this amuse-bouche,
Mm-hmm.
which a small dish that we serve to everyone coming to Five Sales when they sit down and order. This is a Canadian foie gras warm custard, and my inspiration came from Paris. So throughout that trip in Europe, my last city was Paris, and
Nice.
then I went to Frederick Anton's restaurant on Eiffel Tower,
Oh wow.
like third floor or second floor Eiffel Tower. It's
That's
pretty high up there.
beautiful.
And then my mousse was the foie gras custard, and I was pretty shocked that how flavorful it was, and then how silky creamy it was. So when I came back and I decided to try it making my own, with Canadian foie gras. So I think it turned out better than what I tried.
Oh
I mean,
wow, that's amazing.
I don't want to sound too arrogant, but like this dish itself is yeah.
Yeah, well, you put your own twist on it, so
Yeah.
hopefully you like it
I
more.
mean, it's better for my palate. So
yeah, exactly.
And the good thing is that everybody comes to Five Sales can try this.
Yeah,
Even if you don't order this, you get it comes out automatically. So
I love
yeah.
that. I'm gonna have to come and try.
Sure.
Is it true that French cuisine is like the base of all cooking? Like when you learn how to cook, you learn French cuisine.
In terms of Western cuisine, like fundamentally a lot of like terminologies or the method, techniques, and all that kind of stuff. It's heavily French, I'm gonna say. So even for my culinary school, the textbook, all this cooking terms, it was based in French cuisine. Yeah.
Very interesting. So congratulations, you took home gold at the 2025
Thank you.
Canadian Culinary Championship. You impressed the judges with an outstanding dish, Taste of the Pacific Northwest. Just talk to us about that experience. How was that?
So right after my trip in Europe, I came back and I met the head judge of the regional competition, Canadian Culinary Championships, and I got to do a tasting for her. And then after then, I got some more information about this competition, and I was ideating for my signature dish. So again, like what I started thinking about what's gonna be in season in October for the regional competition. So, and also I started thinking about what I really liked, what I really like in coming from BC, and then also like the dish that has to have my personal connection. So I wanted to showcase my Korean culinary heritage. So I started with this oyster components. So I grew up eating lots of oyster, and I wanted to make entirely edible oyster.
Oh,
So
wow.
I made the oyster shells. I kind of experimented like maybe 17 different recipes, how to come up with a better texture, flavor, and all this stuff. So it had the oyster with salsify puree from Pemberton, and the West Coast oysters lightly marinated and seared.
Yeah.
And then it had the Okanagan apple salad on top. The other component was like sort of the I play on dumpling called mandu, like Korean mandu. I didn't use the flour wrapper. I used a side strap shrimp, wild side strap shrimp from BC. I smashed it and I put Dungeness crab salad inside, and then I encased into like a dumpling shape.
Wow.
And I had the terrine, seafood terrine, so Haida Gwaii sablefish with quarter island scallop muslin, and then nice roasted skin tuile on top.
Wow.
So that was like 3 components in my signature dish.
That sounds amazing. It's just so creative. It's like art, truly. Like, it's
Thank you.
crazy. And the fact that you made an edible shell for the oyster is just so interesting. I bet it was so cool. What's been another one of your proudest moments as a chef?
I mean, there are so many occasions or times that I celebrated with my team. You know, like when one of our team members getting promoted, or you know, when we achieved our team goal, either it's awards or you know, when we try to push like really heavy busy Valentine's Day successfully finished, and we kind of, you know, we cheer and celebrate together. I mean, they're always the proudest moment, but I can't really just pick one.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Have there been any happy accidents in the kitchen that turned into favorite foods for guests or the people that you work with?
I wish I had one. I mean, some chefs, they have like this different stories. Oh, somebody dropped the pie, and then I decided to serve the pie, you know, broken pie.
Yeah.
But I don't have any happy accidents.
Maybe it'll happen one day.
Yeah, it'll happen. I mean, yeah. But I like planning things, you know, having things organized. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's maybe just my personality.
Possibly.
Yeah. If it doesn't go away the way that it's planned, then, you know, I always try to improvise. But it's always better for me to serve it in an original form or the plan.
Totally. Yeah, I get that. Where do you see the future of fine dining headed, especially in Canada?
I think the fine dining in the future will be a little bit more experimental focus. So, you know, really the ambience matter, like more story-driven menus, and then chef interactions with the guest. And I think service staff will act more like a concierge instead of just taking orders and serve.
Right.
So I'm going to say it'll be very heavily experimental. Yeah, so there'll be a fine dining's future.
Interesting. Do you ever see that being incorporated in Five Sales?
Yeah, I mean, every time we have a tasting menu other than the a la carte. Tasting menu, we always focus on like what's the story behind this menu, how we're going to implement or incorporate special experience for the guest. I mean, there are a few exciting things that we're working on right now. Yeah, so it takes so much efforts and time to put in, and you know, I can't do this by myself. I need my restaurant directors, restaurant managers, or even service staff that come to me and tell me about there's some of the feedback about this and that. So I try to incorporate a lot of feedback from our guests.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. What do you think is the best restaurant outside of Five Sales? Well, maybe not the best because you probably can't choose one, but one of your favorites or some of your favorites in Vancouver.
There are many great restaurants in Vancouver.
Yeah.
My experience in terms of food and service, my experience at Okiya Kijiro was really good. I mean, it's Japanese cuisine, so different from what we do. Okiya Kijiro is amazing. Sometimes I get these questions from my friends, hey, where should I go? I'm in Vancouver for 3 days.
Yeah.
And I always say, you got to narrow it down. I can't, you got to say, like, you got to tell me whether it's a steakhouse or Japanese, Italian, or French, right? You know, if somebody asks me about French, like bistro style, I like Tableau restaurant. And, you know, there's great steakhouse out there. So, yeah, I can't just pick one.
So fair.
Yeah.
So fair. So what's next for you in Five Sales? Any exciting projects on the horizon?
Like I mentioned, we're continue to develop the story-driven menus, and then we want to incorporate more interaction stations like throughout the restaurants. Either maybe the guests come in to the kitchen, and then they can experience or taste small bites, something like that, or either we make interaction stations in the restaurants with some growing plants, vegetables, all that kind of stuff. It's in the discussion stage, but we're continuing to develop something that is more experimental, experiential. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
So for anyone that has never been to Five Sales, what's like your elevator pitch? Why should they come to your restaurant?
Our food has story, and it's flavorful, and it's seasonal. We try to push local, and our service is amazing. The wine pairing is amazing. So, yeah,
I love that.
And I love going out to the restaurant and talking to the guests. So a lot of times that I share about my trips or my own insights about the culinary scenes in Vancouver, and we get lots of tourists as well.
Yes.
So
you're right by the cruise ship.
Exactly. Yeah. So we talk about other cities, other countries. So yeah.
I love that. Have you met any like cool people, like famous people? Have they come to your restaurant or?
Like not only just Five Sales, throughout my career,
Yeah.
I've met a lot of celebrities, especially hotels. They stay there. They go to restaurants. I mean, I love Bourne series.
I don't know what that is.
Jason Bourne? No?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Bourne Legacy, Bourne Supremacy, no?
Oh,
okay, so it's like a 007 movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
anyways.
That's probably why.
Yeah, Matt Damon.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And then Jackie Chan.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, Jackie Chan.
Were they
Matt
nice?
Damon. Yeah. And then Dwayne Johnson was there.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of times when I met them or get to serve their food, they're on a really strict diet. So lots of kale, wheatgrass, chicken breast. They're really specific with their, what they're eating. So
yeah,
they're nice. Yeah.
that's cool.
But Jackie Chan wanted me to spice up his soup, and I was putting pepper, chili sauce, and all that stuff. And I was like, "Sir, it's gonna be really spicy."
Yeah.
He's like, "I want more. I want more."
That's insane.
Yeah. But I mean, he loves spicy food. I love spicy food too. So
Me too. But I have a threshold. I have like I can only go so spicy. That's so cool. Okay, I'm going to ask a few little rapid fire questions, and I'm so curious to hear your answers. What is your favorite midnight snack?
I'm gonna say instant noodle ramen.
Oh, so true. What's one kitchen tool you can't live without?
It used to be microplane, but I'm gonna say vacuum pack machine.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can do so many things with backpack machine. Not only just storage, like storing purposes, but also you can cryo pickle or compress your fruits or vegetables. Yeah, a lot of things that I do with my vacuum machine.
I love that. If you weren't a chef, what would you be doing?
I asked the question to my wife, and she's like, "You probably would be in, I don't know, military or firefighters. I don't. But I don't have passion for that kind of stuff. I have a passion for music.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of secret, but
Do you play instruments?
yeah, I play guitar.
Oh,
I used to
wow.
play piano. Yeah.
Nice. Do you sing?
Yes, I do when there's nobody at home.
I love that. That's so cool. What's the most memorable meal you've ever had anywhere in the world, other than the one at the Eiffel Tower?
As a person, I'm gonna say my grandmother's kimchi pork stew.
Cute.
Yeah, but as a chef, I have to say Frederick Anton's langoustine dish in Paris with the parmesan foam. It was just perfect.
Sounds
like how
amazing.
it's cooked and everything, the flavor. Yeah.
Do you get a lot of inspiration from your grandma's cooking?
Just really the traditional cooking method, like fermentation, charcoal cooking, and pickling, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that was just the inspiration. I don't really do much Korean food at Five Sales, but like the inspirations can still be there in
That's
my dish.
cute.
Yeah,
Sweet or savory?
savory.
Breakfast for dinner or dinner for breakfast?
I think I love eating eggs at night, but I can't eat steak or something heavy in
For
the morning.
breakfast, yeah.
So breakfast for dinner.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes,
I agree.
1000%.
I think it's so good, and I'm
offend some
Italian.
Italian friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One ingredient you secretly hate
Mm.
working with.
Anything that is like red and stains everything, like pomegranate or red
Beets.
beets. Yeah. I mean, I love the flavor, but it just really it's you get messy.
Yeah.
After
Fair
working with
enough.
those ingredients. Yeah.
What's the dish you cook to impress someone?
Pasta,
Mm.
but I'm gonna say gnocchi.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I love making gnocchi, and I think I'm getting better every time I make it.
Yeah.
I'm still getting better with making gnocchi. So gnocchi.
Gnocchi's my
Yeah.
favorite food.
Mm.
What's your guilty pleasure fast food?
Fast food. I mean, I already say instant noodles,
Mhm.
but I love burgers, like
Mm.
smash burger,
Mhm.
like cheese, extra mayo,
Mm,
extra
mhm,
pickles.
mhm.
Yeah,
I'm a chicken tender
yeah.
gal
chicken-
myself.
I love
Yeah.
chicken tenders too,
They're so good.
but yeah.
But burgers for you. Wine, beer, or cocktail with dinner?
Wine.
Yes, nice. Weirdest food combo that you actually love?
I don't know if you ever tried this, but I slice up my spam and pan fry,
Mm.
and I dip it in ketchup.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a very Korean thing.
No, it sounds amazing. I
Yeah,
would love that.
Yeah. And the white rice.
What's on your kitchen soundtrack? Who are you listening to when you're cooking?
I prefer no music in the kitchen
Mm.
because we gotta communicate
Yeah.
between the stations. But if you're prepping in the morning or if you have to have a soundtrack, the Queen.
Queen?
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
I love Queen. Is that who you would listen to at home too if you were
I used to listen to the Queen a lot, and then I think
Really?
their music's so great. And
It's
then,
so great.
Yeah, and
Freddie
then-
Mercury is amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Who would play you in a movie about your culinary life?
Does it have to be an Asian actor?
No, it could be anybody. The Rock.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, Matt Damon or myself.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
true. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You should be able to play
Yeah,
yourself.
Matt Damon.
Well, Chef Alex, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wish that I did, or anything else you want to share with our listeners?
No, I'm just grateful, and I had so much fun. I think you covered most of it
Amazing.
about myself. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me on. Yeah.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming, and I can't wait to go to Five Sales.
Come try. Let me know. I'll cook for you.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Hey Downtown Van. We really hope you enjoyed today's episode with Chef Alex Kim. If you'd like to learn more about our organization and all that we do, you can visit our website, dtvan.ca. Or if you want to follow along with the podcast, you can follow us on social at Hey Downtown Van.
Yeah.